Which version of Emacs makes the best use of the Mac GUI? On Windows and Ubuntu I use GNU Emacs, but FSF doesn't provide binaries for the Mac. I have a decent version that came with Snow Leopard, but just running in the Bash terminal. Is there a version that runs in a standalone window and is more Mac-friendly? I downloaded Emacs Cocoa from macports, but it didn't compile.
I tried Aquamax, but found that it tried too hard to be Mac-like. This is probably good if you're a Mac user who is new to Emacs. If you're an Emacs user new to Macs, like I was a couple years ago, you'll probably be more comfortable with Mac-specific builds of standard Emacs. I get mine from Emacs for macOS X. Try the standard build on the home page, or click on the Other Versions button for more options. I've been using the latest pre-test version for 6 to 12 months without problems. If you really want to be stubby and build your own copy, look at the hints on the Emacs wiki page for macOS X. Note, in particular, that you want to build with options for Next Step and not Cocoa or Carbon.
This is an older thread, but I came across it when I was looking to see if there were new developments in OS X Emacs distributions. If you are using Homebrew, you can install the latest version of Cocoa Emacs with. Note that you need to have Bazaar installed. Alternatively, you can install it from the Git mirror with use git head.
This URL. Been an Emacs user for 5 years and have tried all the Mac ports. This is by far the best I've used, both under the hood and in appearance. It even has smooth pixel scrolling, pinch zoom, and some nifty Mac-specific optimizations. CG handling. You can quit, Alt and shell command sleep 100. No bogus menu bar activation while these evaluations. Emulation of select without periodic polling. It doesn't use CPU time while the Lisp interpreter is idle and waiting for some events to come, even with subprocesses or network connections. Graceful termination. If you try logout/shutdown/reboot while leaving a file visiting buffer modified and unsaved, a pop-up window appears for confirmation. If you cancel the termination of Emacs, including CG or escape, the whole logout/shutdown/reboot process is also cancelled immediately, i.e., you will see a cancel dialog immediately rather than a timed out one afterward. If you don't have unsaved buffers, shell buffers, etc., you won't see unnecessary confirmation. Apple Event Handling. One can define Apple event handlers at the Lisp level. Actually, graceful termination above is an instance of Lisp level Apple event handling. Another example is get URL handler that enables us to invoke the mailer you customize with mail user agent, for example. If you set Emacs as the default mailer via mail.app preference, the Emacs mailer will set up a draft buffer when you click a mail to link in a web browser. Dictionary service support. You can look up a word under the mouse pointer in the selected window by typing Command-Control-D, or double/single tapping a trackpad with 3 fingers on Mac OS X 10. 7/10.8, RESP. Resolution independence, 10.4 to 10.6, 10.5 recommended. Scaling works in framework scaled mode as opposed to blurry, magnified mode for the Carbon port. Note, this type of resolution independence is deprecated on Mac OS X 10.7. Some minor visual enhancements. Align key bindings and menus. Progress indicator, corresponding to hourglass, in the title bar. Unusable items in the font panel are hidden. Try option show / hide font panel from the menu bar or Emacs Mac font panel mode retired. Update display while the resize control, or the slider in the font panel, is being dragged. The full screen frame parameter, with all values supported, full both, full width, full height, and maximized. The full both frames, which don't have the title bar, still allow us to access the menu bar, the dock, and the toolbars. The menu bar can also be activated via menu bar open, Ctrl F2, if full keyboard access enabled, or Command Shift/ on Mac OS X 10.5 and later, even for full both frames where the menu bar is usually hidden. Changing fonts or internal border width in full screen frames does not clutter display. On multiple monitor environments, one can move full screen frames to another monitor by setting the left and top frame parameters accordingly. Attaching / detaching external monitors should work even with full screen frames. The sticky frame parameter, which allows us to keep particular frames visible for all spaces on Mac OS X 10.5 and later. The function system move file to trash, which can be specified as a value of delete by moving to trash. SVG image display. This can be done via the WebKit framework, so you don't need LibreScript. Multi-page TIFF images. The function xSelect font that provides modal font selection dialog in a compatible way with GTK Plus and W32 ones. Note that a non-modal counterpart has been available since Emacs 22 Carbon port via Mac font panel mode. Unicode character display including non-BMP ones. Complex text layout and text shaping. They are implemented using the core text or a Nest text layout engine, so you don't need a bot. Glyph selection with variation selectors. Most of Adobe Japan 1 ideographic glyphs are accessible via IVSys, ideographic variation sequences, even for the OS bundled Hiragino fonts, which do not contain the use subtable in their command table as of Mac OS X 10.6. Can be compiled with the ImageMagick support. Even without the ImageMagick library, the Mac port provides a fallback using the Image.io framework so you can scale and rotate images. The variable toolbar style works like in GTK+. The values both HORs, text image HORs are synonymous with both. Pixel-based mouse will smooth scroll for newer mice/trackpads. Gesture event handling for newer trackpads. By default, pinch-out / and are bound to text size scaling. With the Shift key, they turn on / off full screen status of the frame. Apple Event Sending with asynchronous reply handling. OOP Editor Suite support is added as an example. Only tested with Quick Cursor. Add an LT, string in GT, or .new.emacs and LT /string in GT. To the elements of Kadishdoices in quickcursor.app/content/info.list. On Quick Cursor 2.0, you need to kill the buffer after saving it in order to reflect the changes to the original text area. Click in the scroll bar to jump to the spot that's click setting and the system preferences is supported. Pressing the Option key while clicking toggles this behavior temporarily. Change of text smoothing threshold setting in the appearance pane of the system preferences is reflected immediately. Several keyboard shortcuts, notably those for keyboard navigation, listed in System Preferences just work like other applications. When the clipboard is both textual and image data, yank inserts the former and push both into the kill ring so the latter can be inserted with yank pop afterwards. Use non-integral X positions for displaying anti-alias proportional fonts. You can see the difference by putting the box cursor over Helvetica 12 pints I, whose ideal width is 3.33398 but displayed with the rounded width 3, for example. Emacs info nodes are accessible via search field and the help menu on Mac OS X 10.6 and later. Menu item open selected file in Emacs is shown in services or context menu of other applications by default on Mac OS X 10.6 and later when absolute path name like text is selected. Reverse conversion in Codewary works even without selection. Hitting IC/Ctrl key on JS keyboard, or Ctrl-Shift/J/K on S keyboard, twice also works. New function Mac file alias P, which is parallel to file symlink P. Experimental support for accessibility with respect to the custom view for Emacs frames. It is required to support text-to-speech on Mac OS X 10.7. Still, there are several glitches. Can display color bitmap fonts such as Apple Color emoji, if compiled and executed on Mac OS X 10.7 or later. Also supports display of some combinations of regional indicator symbols, such as U+1F1F followed by U+1F1F5, as national flags. Variation selectors 15, text style, and 16, emoji style, are also supported. New function Mac Start Animation, which provides animation effects on Mac OS 10.5 and later via Core Animation. You can see the default animations with buffer switching by horizontal swiping/flicking, exiting from the splash screen by typing Q, and the About Emacs and Preferences. Menu items in the application menu, labeled Emacs, and the menu bar.
Well, I use vanilla Emacs with the NS patch but with their settings. I got them from the guy from Emacs Rocks GitHub, I think. That way I get to use another option characters as in any other application and also have a more familiar placement of the meta key. I've caps lock as Ctrl-BTW. Also, so I can copy and paste into Emacs, EA. I CMD plus C on Chrome and CY on Emacs to paste and vice versa CW CMD plus V.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.